Last year, Legendary Entertainment and Sunrise announced that they're teaming up to make a live-action feature film based on the long-running giant robot anime series Gundam, with acclaimed comic scribe Brian K. Vaughn attached to write. And that's pretty promising, though we don't really know anything else about the project. So far, no Western live-action adaptation of a Japanese anime or manga has stuck the landing in terms of commercial success, public reception, and not completely missing the point of the source material. After being in development for almost 20 years, Alita Battle Angel is the best to date, but the bar is pretty low after the forgettable and problematic Ghost in the Shell, laughably bad Death Note, and borderline blasphemous Dragon Ball Evolution, which I apologize for reminding you of. When it comes to adapting Gundam, though, there's a lot more wiggle room because Gundam isn't confined to a single timeline or universe. There are numerous different ones, so a wonderful precedent has been set in terms of source material, and there's really no one canon Gundam timeline that needs to be adhered to. The closest thing to that would be what's called the Universal Century, which is the continuity started by the original 1979 anime, Mobile Suit Gundam, but even that gets a bit messy when you start factoring in official novelizations and side stories. One of the big reasons the Gundam franchise has stood the test of time is its flexibility to be reinterpreted in alternate universes and timelines. To name a few, Gundam Wing, G Gundam, and Gundam Seed all diverge from the original Universal Century while borrowing themes introduced by the original anime. They've gotten even weirder than that too. There is Steampunk Gundam, Martian Street Urchin Gundam. They've done super deformed sentient Gundams who befriend children, and there's even Gundam shows about people building Gundam models. Shows, plural, about model kits. So with this live-action version, Hollywood pretty much has carte blanche to screw around and try something new. It could still totally be a shit-hot wreck, but as long as it involves people piloting giant robots in some form, it's not automatically screwing up the source material, because people have been screwing up Gundam source material for decades, and it's kind of part of the culture at this point. Oh, and as for a Hollywood Western take on the Gundam aesthetics, well, there's a precedent for getting kinda weird with that too. The mechanical designs for Turn A Gundam were done by none other than legendary concept artist Sid Mead of Aliens Power Loader and Blade Runner Spinner fame. And yes, his Gundam kinda looks like a sexy disco walrus robot, but Turn A was directed by Gundam creator Yoshiyuki Tomino, so you show that sexy disco walrus robot some damn respect when you're under my roof. Personally, I hope the Gundam movie is completely its own thing, not an attempt to retell any existing stories, but maybe tossing in a few Easter eggs here and there as nods to other lore. As long as it's got kick-ass giant mech suits beating the crap out of each other while their human pilots cope with the horrors of war, it's meeting the basic criteria, and the best way to miss the mark is to aim too close to it. The potential is there right now. Brian K. Vaughn has demonstrated his talent for showing the human side of intergalactic warfare in the pages of his comic saga, and we saw how awesome the live-action RX-78 looked in Ready Player One, so as a longtime fan of the Gundam franchise, I'm cautiously optimistic about this live-action Gundam movie. Absolute worst-case scenario, it is a terrible, boring, unsuccessful failure of a movie, but it's not going to screw up the source material any worse than the source material's already done to itself. It'll just be adding another layer to the already densely packed Gundam mythos. You know, unless they go full Final Fantasy The Spirits Within, in which case we can all just pretend it never happened and collectively move on with our lives.
Where are we?
I'm not sure.
And hey, even if it is that bad, new Gundam stuff means new Gundam model kits, and really, that's the secret of Gundam. The best part is building the model kits.
No glue required.
If you'd like to hear me wax optimistic about another Hollywood big screen adaptation of a popular Japanese franchise, I pointed out 6 things Detective Pikachu is doing already to lay the groundwork for a Pokémon cinematic universe and possibly prevent that film from being just another crappy video game adaptation. In the meantime, what do you want to see from a Gundam movie, and what's your favorite mobile suit? Mine is probably the Easy 8, though I'm very fond of the Jigen and the GM family. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys around.